Hey guys, this is Troy from TROYPOINT.com, and in this video I will show you how to set up a cheap, non-certified Android box, or what some people call China boxes or generic Android boxes. These are usually running Android open source project as the operating system, which is similar to what you find on Android phones and tablets, and that is why people have trouble setting them up. The operating system isn't optimized for the television screen like Android TV is. You will usually see lots of negative reviews on these boxes because people don't know how to set them up properly. My tips and tricks will get you up and running quickly so you can enjoy these low-cost streaming devices. In this video, I'm using the X88 Pro X5M, but the same setup process should work for most generic Android boxes. Everything that I reference in this video will be linked below, so be sure to check out the video notes. Now first, let's briefly take a look at a few popular websites that sell these generic boxes. First one I'm going to go to is Amazon, and I'm going to search for Android box or Android TV box. And you're going to see all kinds of cheap options on these websites. And what draws people to these boxes is the amount of storage, USB ports, RAM memory, usually better features that you don't get with the certified devices. And now I'm going to open AliExpress, another popular website. Now, this one here, the biggest pain point is that it usually takes a little while for them to ship the products to you. This website is based out of China, but you can save a lot of money by ordering through this site. And you'll see there's all kinds of options for Android boxes available here as well. Now, one thing that drew me to the box I'm using in this video is that it comes with a Bluetooth remote. Many of these generic boxes come with an IR remote, and they are complete junk. When looking at these boxes, I strongly suggest picking something with a Bluetooth remote or buy one and pair it to the Android box. Okay, let's move over to my X88 Pro X5M Android box. You will see I've already booted the device. Now, this is a brand new system. I just unboxed it, and I'm going to go through everything in this setup. Now, right away, you may notice that the remote doesn't work very well, and typically that's due to the fact that you are only using the IR feature of the remote. We haven't paired Bluetooth with this remote yet. I will do that here once we get into the launcher. So it's important when you first boot these devices, if it doesn't prompt you to pair the remote via Bluetooth during the setup process, you'll have to do that once you get into the operating system. So right now I'm pointing this directly at the box so the remote works. I'm choosing English, next. Now this screen here allows me to set the video calibration. If for some reason this box doesn't display properly on my television, I can use the arrows on the remote to zoom to the proper size for my TV. Okay, I'm gonna hit next. And now I'm going to click the white button, top left-hand corner under language. It says Wi-Fi, and that will display my Wi-Fi access points. And I'm going to connect to one of those, type in my password for that Wi-Fi connection, and that will get us on the internet. Now, this box does come with gigabit Ethernet. However, in this tutorial, I'm going to be using Wi-Fi. And this here is just explaining the layout of the launcher. We will see here in a little bit. Now, right away, you may be turned off from the sight of this launcher, but please note, we will be changing the launcher here in a little bit. We're going to get completely rid of this generic launcher, and we will install something much better. Okay, the first thing I want to do is get Bluetooth connected on my remote control. Right now, it's only running off of the IR signal. So the remote control right now isn't very responsive, and we're going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to go into settings. Now, you may already be connected to Bluetooth depending on your Android box. They may have prompted you to do that during the setup. I'm going to go to remotes and accessories. And typically for whatever box you're using, they're going to give you some instructions on how to put it in pairing mode, the remote control. Or there may be an insert or paper insert or manual inside the box that the unit came in that gives you instructions on how to pair the remote. For me, I need to hold down on the OK button and the volume down button at the same time. I'm doing that now. A red LED light is flashing on my remote, and it has connected. Now, if I go back into remotes and accessories, you will see MG4. That's the remote that this device came with. It is now connected, and now I don't need to point it directly at the box to use the remote. Okay, now I'm going to go back into settings, back button on my remote, device preferences. Now we want to ensure that all the updates have been installed on the device. I'm going to go into About, System Update. Check for update. Now that's one thing about these generic boxes. You're usually not going to see very many updates or none at all. Not a huge deal, because usually when these Android updates come out, it usually breaks more things than it fixes. I personally haven't seen an Android TV update in the past 5 years that I was impressed with. Okay, there are no updates. Back button on my remote. Now, since we're in the About section, one thing I'm going to do is highlight Android TV OS build, and I want to click that 7 times. This will make us a developer. Back button on the remote. Now we will have developer options in this menu. Now, there are a few things that we do on these devices that require USB debugging to be enabled. I suggest going ahead and enabling that. Something else that I like to do is change all 3 of these animation and duration scales to 0.5. This will make the system faster. It'll just go much quicker between screens and menus as far as the transitions are concerned. And that's the only thing I'm going to change in here. Some of you may want to expand internal storage in the future with a USB drive. You can turn this option on here, insert a USB drive, go through the format process, and what this setting will do is it will push all applications that you install from here forward onto the USB drive. I personally don't suggest doing this due to the fact that these generic boxes, we can get a lot of internal storage at a low price. And usually you're not going to fill up the storage on these devices due to these huge hard drives. So if you don't have to, I don't suggest doing this. Okay, now I'm going to go back. Next, I want to go into apps. See all apps. Now I'm going to go through here and uninstall anything that I'm not going to use. And I will start from the top here. I'm going to get rid of Disney Plus. Netflix. Uninstall this. Now, you may be wondering why I am uninstalling Netflix, and that's another very important subject to talk about. On these generic Android boxes, they usually don't have the proper licensing to use the official Netflix app. If there is an app installed, it's going to be a clunky interface, the same interface you get on a phone or tablet. It's not going to work very well on the TV screen. Plus, you're not going to get the full HD playback. I personally don't use any of these paid streaming services because I use our #1 ranked APK, which is Streamio. Now, speaking of Streamio, be sure to get my free Ultimate Streamio setup video that will allow you to cancel all of your overpriced streaming services. This one app will provide you with everything you need while saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each year. To get my free bonus video, simply click the link in the video notes below or open the camera app on your phone or tablet, scan this QR code, input your email address, and the video will be delivered to your inbox immediately. This is the most popular video we've ever released, and rightfully so due to the amount of money that it saves. Okay, I'm going to get rid of Prime Video as well. I don't need TikTok. Again, this is personal preference. Whatever you want to delete, it's completely up to you, but I do not use any of those streaming services because I am using the free Streamio application. And by the way, I will show how to install that here in a little bit. Okay, I'm done with that. Now I'm going to go back to the home screen. We're going to install a few applications. I'm going to go into Google Play, sign in, and now I'm going to input my email address and password, and I will then log into my Google account. Okay, now I'm going to go through these privacy screens. I'm not going to back up my data. Hit accept. Okay, we are now in the Google Play Store. Now, for those of you who have used the certified Android TV boxes, this looks completely different than what you're used to, and this is one of the #1 pain points people have. Right away, they're turned off by this Google Play Store that's really meant for phones and tablets. Now, most of these generic boxes come with a mouse button on the remote. This one does have that. So you will notice if I have problems navigating these screens that are meant for mobile devices, I can always push the mouse button on the remote, and you're going to see the finger there, or the cursor, and that's going to allow me to click what I need to click if for some reason the directional pad on the remote doesn't work for the app we're in. Now, when you first come in here, there's a few things you want to do. I'm going to go up and click the avatar, top right-hand corner for my account. First thing I want to do is go into Play Protect, top right-hand corner, hit the gear icon. There should be some place in here where you can disable Play Protect. If you don't turn this off, whenever you're side-loading third-party apps not available within Google Play, it's going to try to block a lot of them. So this is extremely important. Again, depending on your box, this may be hidden somewhere else, but it's typically available somewhere within Google Play Store. So that's turned off. Back button on my remote, back again. I'm going to go back into my avatar. Next, I want to go into My Apps and Games. And you're going to see here, there's a section for updates. Go into that. You want to make sure that you update everything that's currently pending. So I'm going to hit Update All. I'm going to wait for these installations to finish. Okay, back button on my remote. And you'll see under Updating Apps, it looks like it is still updating. That should continue in the background until it's finished. Back button on my remote. Now we're back to the Google Play home screen. Now, the first application I want to install is the free downloader application. I always say that this is the gateway app for all of our side loading activities. Okay, I'm going to move down, and the directional pad on this box is still working pretty good where I don't have to use that mouse button very often. But there might be some applications that you want to install through the Google Play Store here that do require mouse mode. And that's one of the reasons people like these generic boxes is because it comes with the full Google Play Store. So I'm going to choose Downloader by AFTV News. Very, very important note, do not use these other downloader apps. You want the one that says by AFTV News. Those other ones will not work. Okay, I'm going to move over to the right, click Install. Okay, the app has been installed. Now, there's one other application I want to install through here if it's available. Now, remember, some of these will not be available, and the one I'm looking for is Project Ivy. This is a third-party launcher that's going to get rid of that generic-looking user interface, and this will allow us to customize our screen. So there you're going to see at the top, Project Ivy Launcher. I'm going to hit mouse mode on my remote. Choose Project Ivy, and you're going to see here Project Ivy is not available on this device. If it is there, go ahead and install it through Google Play. And the reason we want to do that is because it takes away from any problems as far as accessibility settings when you install it through Google Play. If you sideload it, there could be some problems. That's what we're going to have to do through the TROYPOINT Toolbox here in a little bit. We need to sideload it because it's not available in Google Play. And I'll show you how to install an alternative app store as well That way, if you can't find what you're looking for in Google Play, we have some other options for you to get the apps you're looking for. Okay, back to the home screen. The main app that I got was Downloader. That's really all I need to get started. So now I'm going to go into apps, and you're going to see Downloader here at the top. I'm going to launch that. Click OK. Up button on my remote. Cursor is blinking in the URL box, and I'm going to click the OK button on my remote. And I'm going to type in 250931. This will open the free TROYPOINT Toolbox that will allow us to install apps not available within Google Play. I'm going to hit go. Now, for some reason, when you hit go on the keyboard and it doesn't open this, click the go button below the URL box. Okay, the toolbox has loaded. Now what I want to do is hold down on the OK button of my remote for a few seconds, add current page to favorites, save, and now I can come in here in the future by going to favorites, click TROYPOINT Toolbox. We don't have to wait for the 5-second load screen. It loads immediately. And this is something that I visit on a regular basis when I need to install an app that's not currently installed. We also base many of our tutorials from TROYPOINT.com on this toolbox. Okay, I'm going to push the down arrow on my remote to scroll down the page. And now I'm just going to go through and install applications that I need on this device. Now, some of these are available in Google Play, and the reason I'm installing them through the toolbox is because I'm always pointing to the most recent stable release of these apps. Many times Google Play Store is weeks, if not months behind. So to install apps on this page, all you need to do is click the download button. We'll start with Surfshark VPN. By the way, if you don't have a quality VPN, huge discount linked below this video. Exclusively available for TROYPOINT fans. Now, the first time you install an app through Downloader, you're going to see this. Hit the settings button. We need to allow for unknown apps in Downloader. Turn this toggle on. Install. Application has been installed. I'm going to hit done. Delete the installation file. There's never any need to leave this on the device. Delete again. And now I'm going to install the most popular free streaming app for movies and TV shows, and that's Streamio. Now you will see here we have 64-bit application, and this one here is 32. 32 will work on all Android boxes. You may want to install 64-bit if your Android box supports it. Some of these generic boxes do, and you should know that by looking at the marketing or documentation that comes with the box. I know that this does not support 64-bit apps, so I'm going to choose this top option here. Download, install, and again, link for our ultimate Streamio setup video is located in the video notes below. You can also scan this QR code as well with a camera app on your phone or tablet. Input your email address to get immediate access to this video. Okay, Streamio has been installed. I'm going to hit done. Delete the installation file. I'm going to keep moving down the page. Next is Project Ivy. And again, if you can, I would suggest installing this through Google Play. Install. Done. And delete the installation file for that. And I mentioned an alternative app store earlier. We're going to install Aptoid TV. That will give us access to other applications not available within Google Play. Install. Now, if you ever see this, just come down here, hit more details, install anyway. Now, I can't get to that, so I'm going to hit mouse mode on my remote. Use the pointer, install anyway. Exit mouse mode by pushing the button again, and now I can navigate with a directional pad. Done. Delete and delete. Now, there's all kinds of other applications available on this screen. You can install whatever you want, and you can also read about these apps and find tutorials with the tutorial button associated with each app. Okay, I've got what I need. I'm going to hit the home button on my remote. Okay, next we're going to get rid of this ugly user interface and set up Project Ivy. So I'm going to go into apps. I'm going to launch Project Ivy, and it's just going to take us through the onboarding process. Right arrow on my remote will advance us through these different screens. And then you will be presented with this. Go ahead and click Allow. Grant notification access and special permissions, yes. And you'll see here it opens that setting under the Android settings panel. Turn on Project Ivy Launcher, back button. I usually don't send anonymous usage and crash reporting, so I'm going to hit no. Get started. Now I'm going to hit the home button on my remote, and you're going to see when I do that, it prompts me to choose which launcher I want to use from here forward. Now, most Android boxes will do this. If it doesn't work, you're going to want to install Launcher Manager for Android TV through the TROYPOINT Toolbox, and I will link to a tutorial below for that. 9 times out of 10, after installing Project Ivy and hitting the home button on your remote, you're going to get something like this here. So I'm going to choose Project Ivy Launcher, set as default. Now, one of the most popular non-certified Android box manufacturers is UGoose. And if you're using one of those devices, you have a setting within the Android settings panel that allows you to choose your default launcher. And there may be some other manufacturers that follow this as well. Home button on my remote. The launcher sticks and it's not going back to that ugly user interface. Now, if you look at the bottom, consider enabling Project Ivy Launcher's accessibility. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Up here to the gear icon, top right-hand corner, Project Ivy Launcher settings. Go into General. Now, one thing I always do is just turn this on, even if it's already set the launcher as default. Override current launcher. Back button. Accessibility service. Show accessibility settings. Yes. And I'm going to move down and turn on accessibility for Project Ivy. And this is one of the problems that we get when we sideload Project Ivy and don't install it through Google Play. But if you remember, it wasn't available in Google Play. Now, the main thing this setting does is it helps set Project Ivy as the default launcher. But on these generic boxes, it already prompted us for that, so we really don't need this. This isn't a big deal. But I will show you how you can turn off that annoying reminder that keeps popping up on the bottom. So I'm going to hit the back button on my remote. Back again. And you're going to see down here, it says show reminder. Just turn that off. Home button on my remote brings us back to Project Ivy. Now, really quick, just to show you how you can customize Project Ivy, there is a hidden favorites row that isn't active yet. And I'll show you how we can activate that. All you need to do is highlight some apps you want to add to the favorites row. Hold down on the OK button of the remote for a few seconds. You can either do add to or move to. If you do move, it will remove the app from the TV apps row. I'm going to do that. No need to have it twice on the screen. And I'm going to choose favorites. And you'll notice when we do that, it automatically adds a favorite section. I'll do the same with Streamio. And then if you'd like, you can come up here and rearrange these. Hold down on the OK button of the remote. Reorder, you can use that option. And then if you move over to the left, keep pressing the left arrow on the remote, you're going to see way to the left, there's an up-down arrow. If you click that, you can then rearrange these rows. And something else you can do, if you don't want to show one of these rows, you can go into Settings and turn off visibility, and it completely gets rid of that row. So as you can see here, you can customize this to your liking. You can also create different categories by going into Settings, Edit Categories. You'll see we have our favorites category already here. You can add a new one here at the top. So you can customize this launcher to your liking. It's a great way to replace that generic user interface. And then we also installed the alternative app store, Aptoide TV. I strongly suggest using this if you can't find what you're looking for in Google Play. Click Allow when this first launches, and then you can use the search icon, top left-hand corner. Click while using the app the first time you do this. You can use that search box there to search what you're looking for, or you can just go through these different categories. They have this laid out in a nice user interface that's easy to navigate. There's all kinds of apps that you can find in here that aren't available within Google Play. So this is a great alternative to Google Play to use this on these generic boxes to find what you're looking for. And then in the future, if you need to get back into your Android settings, all you need to do is go up here to the gear icon, Android settings, takes you right into the familiar Android settings panel. Now, one thing I will show you, if you go into apps, now something I want to show you is you may have some other applications that can sideload apps such as the Chrome browser. You can turn on unknown apps for that by going into security and restrictions under the apps section, unknown sources, and in here you can turn on unknown sources just like we did with Downloader. Aptoide TV, you definitely want to turn it on for that because you are installing apps that are accessing internal storage. Downloader is already turned on, we did that earlier. Surfshark is a good one to turn on because there is an update option within the Surfshark application. And then Chrome, you can install applications directly through the Chrome browser. If you want to revert back to the original launcher that came with the device, all you need to do is go into the gear icon, Project Ivy launcher settings, general. Make sure you turn off override current launcher, home button. And what I like to do is open the previous launcher. Usually you can get to that under mobile apps. It might even be under TV apps. You'll see here it says launcher, and then I'm going to go into settings, apps, Project Ivy, uninstall. Back out of this, home button on my remote, and now you're going to see that the original launcher now works with the home button again. So that is how you can get started with these generic Android boxes. There's many more tips and tricks that I will be coming out with in the near future on this channel. So please be sure to hit the thumbs up button for this video and also subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of those important tutorials that will help you get the most out of these generic boxes. Also, a friendly reminder, if you haven't already done so, be sure to get my free Ultimate Streamio setup video. Link for that is in the video notes below. And you can also scan this QR code here with the camera app on your phone or tablet, input your email address, and the free video will be delivered to your inbox immediately. Guys, thank you very much for following TroyPoint. I hope that this video has helped you. As always, have an awesome day.